Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a different kind of video. Today's video is going to be a story time video. I asked you guys on my Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram what kind of video you guys wanted to see. I gave you guys two options actually. I gave you guys like a Q&A video and story time about the time my mom found out I was pregnant. So yeah. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of background before I even start, because I know I do have a lot of new subscribers, and I have a lot of my subscribers from 2009, 8, around there. So let's just get into it. So I met my husband when I was around 15 years old. I was playing soccer back in the day. I used to play sports, and so I was playing soccer because one of my friends was like, hey, I have a team, you want to play? And so my mom was like, no, you're not really gonna go play, no, you're gonna go do something else. I was like, well, come, you guys can come and watch. So remember that day, it was my first game. They decided to come and watch and whatever. So from there we ended up having my sister play with me as well, and then we ended up switching to another team. And then there I met this girl. So one of the girls in the team, she actually had like a boyfriend. To me, when I first met her, she was like a little chola. To me, I thought she was a chola, I don't know. And she always had like a different boyfriend, or I don't know what it was. So, I would always see her with a guy at the soccer games or practices, whatever. So one Saturday we were playing a game and another guy came to see her. So, I mean, I never really paid attention to it because, I mean, I was still like in high school. I kind of had a boyfriend in high school. And, okay, maybe you guys gonna... I was kind of like not with him anymore. So, I kind of was like trying to date somebody else. So, I was dating somebody else at the time. So, anyways, me and this person broke up, whatever. We were like kind of an on and off kind of situation. I have no idea what the hell it was. But that would be in another story. That's a boyfriend that used to, every time he would get a haircut, he would like break up with me, you guys. So let me know if you guys want to know about that story. But anyway, so that day we were playing, and then this new guy came to see her. And I remember I was playing, and there was like this, it was a big park, and there was like a tree. It was like the only kind of tree there, like in the middle of the soccer field. And I saw that he had like a helmet, like a motorcycle helmet, and he was drinking like a Gatorade, whatever. And I was like, oh, he's cute, So, but then I saw he was talking to her, so I was like thinking, oh, it's another boyfriend of hers, so whatever. So then we went about our game. We lost actually, and I was walking and I saw him talking to her, so I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So we were in the car, and I remember my mom was driving, then I was a passenger, and then we had another girl and her boyfriend in the back. And I was talking to her, and I was like, oh my god, the guy's right there, like on his motorcycle. And I was like, oh my god, he's cute. And then he kind of waved at me, and I was like, oh my god, he waved at me. So that was the time I met my husband. And then the next week on a Saturday, my friend's like, oh, he's not my boyfriend, he's just my best friend. And I was like, oh girl, hook me up. She kind of introduced me to him. So I kind of lost touch with him, and I ended up finding him like when I was like a year later, like when I was 16. I was still playing. And yeah, so I met my husband when I was 15, and ended up dating him when I was 16 because I wasn't longer dating that one guy that was on and off. So my husband was kind of like my rebound boyfriend, and look what happened. So anyways, so me and my husband started dating. I remember my sister was going to have a soccer game, so I ended up inviting him over. It was a Wednesday, I remember. And I invited him over to come and see the game. So he did end up going with us. Like, he went in his motorcycle, met us at the park. And then ended up being a big chaos. People started fighting. And so they ended up canceling the game. So we ended up going home early. So at this time, my mom was kind of like trying to start her own business. So she wanted to kind of like move with her family to Fresno, because she does have a family in Fresno. At this time, I think I was like in 10th grade, I want to say. 9th, 10th grade, moving to 10th grade, I believe. I don't remember, whatever. So we ended up, my mom ended up deciding to move to Fresno and start her job over there. But before she did that, she said she was going to have like a little trial kind of thing, that she would be leaving, trying it out, and then coming back and see how it went. And if it worked out, that we would all have to move. So my mom and my stepdad, her husband at the time, because she's not with him anymore, decided that they were going to be going to Fresno and coming back. So they would come every Wednesday just to pay the bills and buy groceries. So they would leave me and my sister by ourselves in the house. We didn't really think nothing about it. Like, me and my sister, the only thing that we wanted to do was to be on the phone and on the computer, because that was the time that we barely had, like, oh my god, we finally got a computer, we can actually be online, and MySpace it and all this. I remember that I had my first email was in pasito.com. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was like a Univision, I think it was a pasito.com. I got it from La Curacao, whatever. So, you know, I had an email there. So me and my husband used to talk on the phone a lot, or, you know, chat on Messenger, on the MSN Messenger thing. We used to message each other on there. So, you know, but let me tell you. So my mom had our coach, back in the day she was a coach, had her like kind of keep an eye on us. Like, she would drop us off from the game, pick us up and everything. So I would still have my husband come over to my house to sleep over. Okay, my sister didn't care because Mr. was on the phone all the time, so she would get to do whatever she wanted. And so my husband would come over and sleep over. Luckily, we were together for a whole year until my mom decided that we were gonna move. So we did move to Fresno. Mind you guys, I'm still not pregnant here. Okay, we're still not pregnant. So my mom decided to move us to Fresno. We did. So we were there for maybe like I was there for like a month, and we were looking at the schools and everything. And I told my mom, you know what? And let me tell you guys, I was like rebelling, I guess, because I would ditch a lot of school, so I kind of was missing credits. So I would have to go to a continuation school if I wanted to kind of graduate at the same time as my class. So I told my mom, you know what, I have to go back to my school so I can graduate. If not, I'm just gonna drop out and not go to school anymore. So my mom decided I was okay to go live with my dad. My dad lives in Whittier, so I would have to take the bus from Whittier to Linwood to actually go to school. So I decided, okay, this is gonna work out. You know, I'll be able to still see my boyfriend. He'll be able to come, because let me tell you guys, he would drive every weekend to see me to Fresno, every weekend. So it would just hit Friday, right when he got out of work, he would drive to Fresno to see me, and he would spend the night either in a motel or in the car or in my mom's van in front of the house, you know. So it didn't really matter, he was always there. So I have kind of liquid lipstick on my, so he was always there. But I did have to go back to school. So I told my mom, you know what, I have to move in with my dad and kind of do what I have to do to graduate. If not, I'm just gonna drop out and not go to school anymore. So she said it was fine. My dad said it was fine, you know. So I moved in with my dad. So let me tell you, in my dad's house, it's my brother, my dad, my dad's girlfriend, and I think she had like 2 kids or 3 kids at that time. So they gave me another room that I can sleep in, so it was kind of crowded, whatever. So I would have to take the bus every morning to the school, and then after school I would have to take the bus back to Whittier. So I kind of went like that for like a month maybe, when I just couldn't do it anymore, and I just didn't want to live with my dad anymore. I just wanted to live with my husband. So I ended up moving in with my husband. But at the time, I didn't tell my mom I was moving in with my husband. I was telling my mom I was moving into his house, but I was staying with his mom. So he would sleep in the living room and I would sleep in the room. And that was like a total lie, and she didn't know about it. You know, I think she kind of had suspicions that I was living with him, but I wouldn't admit to it because I wouldn't admit to it. So she came over once to visit, and I would tell her, oh, you know, I sleep with her in the room, and he sleeps here, and he's never here because he's working. So, you know, I had to, after I get out of school, my mother-in-law didn't get out until like 4:30, I believe. So I would have to go to my friend's house, and then my mother-in-law would pick me up, and then she would drive me home to their house. or I would have to wait until he got out of work to pick me up and then take me to the house. So, you know, kind of lied to my mom a bit until one day she came to visit. And I remember that my husband and I would sleep in the living room, because where we lived, it was a 1-bedroom. So my mother-in-law had the bedroom and we sleep in the living room. So they had turned the living room into like a room. So he had his own bed there. And so my mother was like being sneaky, going through stuff. She found, you know, like stuff that she shouldn't be looking for, and that's how she knew that I was already living with him. And she got crazy and she started talking crap, whatever. Mind me, I was still not pregnant, you know. I was like, no. So okay, whatever. She found out that I was already living with him. She couldn't do nothing about it because at the time she had come back from Fresno. It didn't work out, and she was actually staying with the girl that I told you guys that was the coach. She was staying with that lady. But they would sleep like in my mom's van. My sister was with them, so it was kind of like they were kind of homeless, I want to say, my mom and my sister and her husband at the time. So it was kind of difficult, and so she couldn't do nothing about it. She couldn't make me go live with them, because then it would be more harder for them to, like, we would all be like in the van, I guess. I don't know what the situation was, but you know, she couldn't do nothing about it anymore because I was already living with him. So that happened. So me and my husband like to like wrestle a lot, and I remember we would wrestle a lot, and he would like push my stomach in, and you know, we would like wrestle kind of rough. We like to do that. So like in me, something would tell me, you can't let him do that anymore. So I had this feeling like in me, like, okay, you can't let him push you in the stomach anymore. You can't play rough with him anymore. I just didn't know why I felt that way. I don't know. I just didn't know why I felt that way. And I ended up thinking maybe I'm pregnant. So I did end up like down the street by where we used to live. There was like a store called Tapatio. And we would go there almost every day. So a lot of people already knew us. I remember I had to walk in there and buy a pregnancy test because I thought I was pregnant. So I ended up buying a pregnancy test. I remember being so embarrassed to buy the pregnancy test when I put it down so they can charge me for it. The lady that was like next to me, like it was her turn after me, asked me, how old are you? Like, and I was like, you know, why is she even asking me how old I am? And then I thought, I was like, because of the pregnancy test, dumbass. She's asking if she like thinking you're too young to be pregnant or thinking you're pregnant. But I didn't tell her anything. They charged me for it and I went home. And I remember it was just that one pregnancy test that it only comes with one in it. And mind you, I've never been in a situation thinking that I am pregnant or ever thought I was pregnant or I might be pregnant. Never had that scare. So for me that I had to go through all of that, I was like super nervous. So I did take the test and I didn't know how to read it. Even though it had the full instructions and the picture and everything, I was so scared and nervous that I didn't know how to fucking read it. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hide it and then wait until maybe he comes and he can read it, or I don't know what the fuck am I gonna do, excuse my language. So I waited until my mother-in-law came home and I told her, it's like, I took a pregnancy test but I don't know how to read it. So she was kind of the first one to know about it, so I did show it to her and I gave her the box and she's like, oh, it says you're pregnant. But mind you, she only speaks Spanish, so you know, she was kind of concerned because I was underage and her son is like 6 years older than me. At the time I was 17 and she was 20. He was 23. So she's like, it says that you're pregnant, but she didn't say nothing. She's the type of person that she minds her own business. So once I told her, she just went inside her room, changed, and she was watching her novelas. So then I remember texting my husband and telling him, at this time, let me tell you guys, like, if I could have taken that time back and like kind of planned it to tell him that I was pregnant, I would have. I kind of just told him through text, I just found out I'm pregnant. And let me tell you, he would always get home at 6 o'clock. This time he came out so early. I was so excited that he was when I told him. He was so excited. I was in the shower when he came that he had to come in and open the curtain and take a look at me. And he was just looking at me like he couldn't believe that I was pregnant. He was so happy. So those nights when I found that I was pregnant, he would sleep holding my stomach the whole time. Like, let me tell you, I was like, oh, he's so sweet. So after that I found out I was pregnant, I told him, you know what, I'm gonna go to the doctor and confirm it, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do, like tell my parents, tell my mom, you know, whatever. So I ended up going to the doctor. So I told my friends, you know what, let's go to the doctor, you know, to find out if I'm really pregnant, because I took a pregnancy test. So let me tell you, okay, we went to this clinic by the school that we were going to, and they told me, okay, you need to, you know, give us a sample of pee, we're gonna do a test and everything. So I was like, okay. I did, and I was waiting, and I was just like waiting for them to confirm that I was pregnant, when the lady walks in and tells me, you know what, you're not pregnant. And then I was like, but I took a pregnancy test and it said that I was pregnant. And she's like, well, we just did a test right now and it says that you're not pregnant. So I kind of felt disappointed, because we were already excited that I was pregnant, and then it tells me that I'm not pregnant. So let me tell you, okay, so I just brushed it off, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it was just false, maybe I was just, you know, whatever. So mind you, I went about my business. I called him, I was sad, and I told him, you know what, it was false, I'm not pregnant, we're not gonna have a baby. So he kind of felt sad about it, but he's like, well, it was not meant to be, it was not meant to be. So we just left it at that. So we went about our business, and the girl that actually introduced me to my husband calls me up one day, and she's like, hey, how are you? You know, so to mind you, she introduced me to my husband, and then she met another guy. She was never with my husband. Let me just tell you guys, because you're gonna be like, oh, she was with your husband. She was okay. My husband, he had a friend, and that was his sister. So my husband and that girl became best friends. They would always hang out, go clubbing. So she would go her way, he would go his way. So they would always hang out together. So they were kind of like best friends. She calls me and tells me, oh, so have you gotten pregnant? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. She's like, oh, well, I think I'm pregnant, and I'm going to go buy a test and find out if I am pregnant. She's pregnant. So then I was like, you know what, I did take a test like a couple of weeks ago, and it said I was, and then I went to the doctor and I said no. She's like, well, I trust these pregnancy tests, you know, like I'm gonna buy the one that says it has two. I'm gonna take it. If it says yes, then I'll give you the other one and you can take it. And if mine says no, then well, I'm gonna keep the other one, just so that if I think I'm pregnant again, I would take the test. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So then she calls me back, and she's like, you know what, it says that I'm pregnant, you know, come and pick up the other one and you can take the test. And I was like, oh, okay. So I remember we went and we drove to her house. She lived like maybe 2 blocks away, and she gave me the pregnancy test, and she's like, call me right when you take the test and let me know what it says. So I knew that I really didn't care about the test, because I was already disappointed that it said that I wasn't. So I was like, I'm not pregnant, so why am I gonna even take it? So I didn't take it. She calls and she's like, have you taken the test? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, take it, I've been waiting. So I ended up going to the bathroom, and I take the test, and the test says that I am pregnant. So I call her, and I'm like, it says that I am pregnant. And she's like, you are pregnant? And I'm like, I don't know, because I went to the doctor and they told me I wasn't pregnant. So she's like, yeah, you're pregnant, let's go tomorrow to the doctor, and we can like get our workup and everything they need to do so to confirm that we're pregnant. So I was like, I guess. The next day she picks me up, and we drive to this clinic, and it's in HP, Huntington Park. It's like in LA, Huntington Park area. And there's so many clinics there that you can go that it's not even a fucking joke, you guys. So we went to one, and they asked us for our last menstrual period and all that. And it was funny, because me and her, our period were like the same. So our due dates were the same day. So they confirmed that I was pregnant. I was like, oh my god. So we got all that blood work and everything done. So they did say, okay, your guys' due date, both of you guys' due date is November 15th. I was like, OMG, like really? Both of us are pregnant at the same time, same due dates, same last menstrual periods? Like, are you fucking crazy? Are we gonna have same gender? Like, both of us are gonna have boys, or both of us are gonna have girls? I was like, okay. So I was excited. So they gave us like an ultrasound thing, and I had like a little picture, and I was like so excited. Mind you guys, I was still in high school. So I went home, waited for my husband to get home, and then we kind of like, I showed him the picture. He was so excited, and we were kind of trying to like see how we were gonna tell my mom about it, because if she wasn't okay that we were living together, how is she gonna feel that I'm pregnant? I'm still in high school, and it's like, you know, she doesn't want me to follow her steps because my mom had her baby. She dropped out of school. She was 15 when she ran away from home. I didn't run away from home. I just decided to move with my husband. But she ran away from home with my dad. They moved to Mexico, and then she got pregnant for my brother, and they moved back, and you know, so she just didn't want me to go through that. And so I kind of was scared because we had a conversation before I even thought I was pregnant about what would she do if I was pregnant. She said she wouldn't love my baby, she would hate him, and she wouldn't talk to me, and you know, all these scary things that she could possibly say to me, she did say. So I was really afraid. So we did keep it a secret for a while, until I think I got my second ultrasound done. Like, you can actually see like the baby and all that. My mom was coming to pick me up one day after school just to come visit and hang out. I think she was gonna drive me home. So she picked me up, and I remember that I had told my husband, today is the day I'm going to talk to my mom and tell my mom about what's going on. And he was scared. Let me tell you, my husband is the type of guy that he wanted to do everything the way it should be. Like, when we were dating, he wanted to talk to my mom and ask my mom if he could be my boyfriend. But me, like, thinking, it's like, okay, if you tell her we're together, she's not gonna be leaving me here when she goes to Fresno, and you're not gonna be able to come visit, hang out, or we were not gonna be able to do anything we wanted, because she would know that we're together, that I have a boyfriend, and it would kind of ruin the whole thing. So I didn't want him to talk to my mom. So he wanted to like be the one of like, I want to talk to your mom, I want to tell your mom. And so I told him, you know, I'll talk to my mom, because if she beats my ass, I don't want you to see that she's beating my ass. So I told him I'll talk to my mom. So I ended up waiting until we got home, and we were talking. And mind you, the lady that was the coach that my mom was staying with was pregnant as well, but she was already far along. Let me tell you, I was so nervous that I was going to tell my mom that I was pregnant. So I decided I would show her through an ultrasound. So I remember I had the ultrasound in my pocket, I remember. So, you know, I didn't want her to find out I was pregnant when I started showing. I wasn't showing yet. And mind you that I was like 4 months pregnant, and she still didn't know I was pregnant, and you couldn't tell that I was pregnant. So I was still going to school. And I was due until November, so I was still good. So I ended up showing her the ultrasound of the pregnancy, and I was like ready to get like smacked. I was like, okay, she's going to kick the shit out of me right now. She started crying like you have no idea. I felt bad because I felt she was crying because she was disappointed, or she was crying because she was happy, but in me it was like she's disappointed that I'm pregnant. So she started crying, and she was looking at it, and then she started hugging me, and then she started crying. So I honestly didn't know what to do. I was just afraid she was gonna beat my ass. So I was like, okay, should I start running now? What should I do? So she hugged me, and she was so happy. I was surprised she was happy. And then I told her, I was just afraid to tell you because you told me that you wouldn't want me to have the baby, you wouldn't be happy, you wouldn't talk to the baby, you wouldn't like the baby, you know. So she ended up being okay with it. She started calling everybody actually to let them know that I was pregnant. I don't know if that's the reaction I would take if one of my kids would be pregnant at my age. Probably beat their asses. But she was happy, I guess, because she was gonna be a grandma. And when she called my dad, oh gosh, she called my dad to let him know that I was pregnant. Okay, so my mom is the type of person, she can't wait. She's like, oh, vamos a ver qué vas a tener. And I was like, Mom, it's too soon. We don't know what we're having yet. It's too soon. She's like, oh, con la cadena y el anillo. So I will try to post like a little, what is it? Like a little video on this video so you guys can see what she does. She grabs like a chain and she puts like a ring on it, and I don't know what the fuck she asks, and then it tells you like what you're gonna have. Like it told her exactly what I was gonna have. She asked it, she went and she's like, oh, pon la mano así, vamos a preguntarle, and then she puts it like the chain with the ring, and she asked the ring like what I was gonna have, and then the first thing I said was I was having a girl. And she's like, oh, you're having a girl, watch, you're gonna have a girl. And I was like, I don't trust you. And then she's like, oh, and then it says that you're gonna have another one. I was like, the fuck, I haven't even had the first one. You mean not having another one? She's like, yeah, that you're gonna have another one. It's gonna be another girl. And then she's like, and then it says that you're gonna have another one. I was like, the fuck, another one? She's like, yeah, you're gonna have 3 babies, and the last one's gonna be a boy. And then it says here that you're not gonna have any more after that. And I was like, okay, if you say so. Okay. I'm like, I haven't even had the first one, and you're already telling me I'm having 2 more, and then they're gonna be another girl and another boy. So I really didn't like listen to her, because I don't believe in that. I didn't believe in that. And then when I found out that I was having a girl, I was like, señora es una bruja? Yes, esta señora es una bruja. So I did find out she was fine with it, you guys. Like, the whole thing, I was just paranoid because of what she said. But when I told her, oh, you know what, I had known already that I was pregnant for a while, I just didn't want to tell you because of what you said. She told me that the reason she told me all those things because she wanted the best for me. She didn't want me to mess up my life by having a kid before I even graduated school. Because let me tell you, when I found out I was pregnant, all I wanted to do was sleep, throw up, sleep, and throw up. And let me tell you, I went to a continuation school, and you know, there was another girl at that school that was pregnant, and she was like huge, you guys. Like, people would stare at her, and I felt so bad, like, that she was pregnant walking in school, and everybody was just like talking about her and pointing fingers at her and looking at her funny because she was pregnant. I was like, that's not what I want for me. So luckily, my husband helped me with my homeworks. I had to drop first period. I talked to the counselors, like, you know what, I'm pregnant. I can't make it to first period because I'm always throwing up in the morning, and I'm just too sleepy and I'm tired. And when I get here, I'm always here at second period. So they did drop me my first period, so I didn't have a first period. And then I would stay after school to clean tables just to get those extra credit because I did want to graduate. So thankfully, I graduated like 2 months before school was going to end. So all I had to do was show up on June and graduate, walk the thing with my cap and gown, and that was it. I graduated pregnant. And then, if you guys want to know, and I will tell you guys, my friend was pregnant as well. Ended up having finding out that she was having a boy and I was having a girl, and we were both due November 15, like I said. I ended up going into labor first, and I ended up having my daughter November 5th, and she had her son November 8th, 2 days after. No, was it 3 days after I had my daughter? She had a boy and I had a girl, and you know, that's the story. So I don't know how long the story was because I did want to kind of give you guys a little bit of background. But if you guys do like storytelling, because I do have like a lot of like shit that I've done that I've never like talked about, let me know. Like this video, comment down below if you guys want to hear more story videos, and if you guys can relate, or you know, how did you guys feel? Yeah, I don't know, this is like something different for me because I really don't like to be on here telling you guys my business. But hey, it's been like a long time since you guys and me have been on here, and I think you guys deserve to know a little bit of my chismes. So yeah, I want to thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and if you guys want more storytelling videos, don't forget to like the video, comment, and subscribe, and leave your comments down below. And yeah, so I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye guys.